What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Edmonton Oilers. Now, this video is kind of going to be more of like a discussion piece. I like doing that, style of video because then I can turn it over to you guys as well. So I'm going to give some general thoughts as if we're just having a conversation about the team, because that's when it's the most fun, because you guys get to reply. So make sure when you're done watching this video to go down to the description, the comment box, and comment freely to how you think about the Oilers. Let's keep it PG here. Talk about what they're going to have to do this season. So we'll get into it. Also, I have a ton of information coming at the end of the video, so please, if you are a fan of this channel, or you're just liking like watching the videos, please stay tuned to the end of the video. I have a ton of announcements to reveal to you guys, and I just, it's going to involve like Patreon and stuff like that. I've redid that, Snapchat, all that cool stuff. I'll be putting information all over the place during the video, but I'm going to be describing a ton of stuff at the end of the video, so please stay tuned for that. But let's get to the discussion. So, of course, we've seen Connor McDavid's entry-level contract with the Oilers prove that they haven't really done much other than, one playoff little bit that they had there. And I think that they were pretty damn good, and then they kind of fell off. And, the thing is, it's really disappointing because they made some very, very risky moves. Of course, they got rid of two guys that were basically staples of I guess staples you could say for the little bit of the time period. Not a very good time period, but they lost Hall and Eberle, which those were two guys that they figured they were going to build around for quite some time. And, they got a questionable return for both players, Strome and Larson. So, it is tough to look at that piece. I think that that's kind of, obviously a big piece. And, the team looked real good for that one season, and then, for the playoffs, and, they were impressing some people, and then the season, this past season, it's just like, what happened? And again, this is like, we're going to go through a ton of stuff. I have a lot of notes with me here. So again, like I said, it's going to be a discussion, but it's almost disappointing because I want to see Connor McDavid play more playoff games, but this upcoming season, I mean, I don't think a lot of people are even having them anywhere close to the playoffs. And I guess I could bring up the first graphic. So this was the just the Pacific and wild card here. I just wanted to bring up where they were positioned. Kind of the wild card more, so I could show you guys the teams that are around them type thing. So you can almost ignore a little bit the Pacific Division up there, but you can take a look there because, I mean, realistically, they're not better than any one of those teams, regardless of what division. The Los Angeles Kings, I mean, you could argue they're better. You could argue Colorado's better. You could obviously see St. Louis and Dallas should be better than them. Calgary, made some crazy moves this year, but they switched it up, and they might be a lot better this year. We'll have to see. And then, of course, the teams below them, Chicago, should be getting better. I mean, they want to. They haven't made a ton of moves, but you can't always count out the talent that's on that roster, and they might have a better season. And then you look at Vancouver and Arizona. Those two teams aren't really ready to be good yet. They have a lot of young talent. But, I mean, I don't think a lot of people would be surprised if Edmonton just completely fell off and one of those two teams maybe passed them up a little bit. I mean, Arizona could be a sleeper team this year. Not for playoffs, but to at least impress some people. Because they did have a really good stretch at the end of the year last year. But I just wanted to show you guys this generally because the Oilers are in a very tough spot this upcoming season. Because first of all, cap is not on their side. They don't have a lot of cap space. They also don't really have, the best lineup. I mean, I'm not really dissing the team because it is unfortunate because it does look like Nugent Hopkins and McDavid will probably be playing together. I'm on Daily Faceoff. They figure Ty Ratty is going to get time with them on that first line, or maybe this is just, how they are looking at it from afar. I don't really know how it's going to stack up because they're going to want to try some other things. Then you've got like Draisaitl, Lucic, Puljujarvi, who also really needs to take a step this year. Then you've got Tobias Reeder, Ryan Strome, and Drake Caggiula. Again, three guys that are going to have to see good production from this year. Aberg, Brodziak, and Cassian. Those are other guys that they have listed on this team. Like, I don't really see this team as like a crazy, really good team. I mean, again, I keep going back to it. The teams around them got better. St. Louis made a ton of moves. Calgary made a huge move. They made multiple huge moves. They went out and got free agents as well. Los Angeles went out and got Kovalchuk. Colorado's going to take a step up this year because they've got a lot of talent. Dallas is looking, you know, of course, the Seguin stuff, but Dallas should be better. Another point I wanted to bring up was, of course, we brought it up before, Sekera. Him being out is going to hurt that blue line. It's not a very talented team, and especially on that blue line, it's not looking great. You know, Nurse and Larson are probably the guys you're going to be relying on. Then you've got Clefbaum, who needs to really play much better this year. And again, like, Chris Russell is not really going to give you everything that you need. He's a defensive style of defenseman. They paid a little bit too much for him. And it's questioning if people are wondering if Ethan Bear and Evan Bouchard are coming up. And I hope I didn't mess up their names, but I know their last names are Bear and Bouchard. I focused on them a little bit because they're defensemen, and I am a defensive type of guy. I love defensemen and goalies. And, you know, I did a bit of research, and of course I knew about them before, but it's like, those guys are pretty damn young, and I'm pretty sure Bouchard this year, because of his birthday, he'll be like 19 a couple weeks into the season. So it's not like he's like stupid young, but like 19 is like, you have to be insanely good, well, at least really good, to make it into the league at that age. And at least be successful. Bear is a little older, but some people believe that he needs at least another year in the AHL, where I feel like the Oilers aren't going to really have a choice. One or both of those guys are at least going to get a shot at the beginning of the year. Personally, I believe in giving guys time unless they're ready, but like, I feel like giving them more time is probably beneficial, because I'm not even sure how this Oilers team is going to be in a couple years. Like, I'm looking at this team and thinking, are they seriously maybe going to consider a rebuild in a couple years? They've got picks they can trade. If you go on Cap Friendly, and this is where my discussion, this wasn't even part of the video, but this is where I'm getting in my mentality of, like, listening to how people talk about this team. They're like, oh, well, you know, McDavid's on that team, so they'll be fine. They've got Draisaitl, you know, they've got some decent pieces. It's like, they've already wasted the opportunity for McDavid's entry-level contract, where he was getting paid next to nothing for his production. Of course, his injuries were a problem the first year, but that was obviously a fluke. But, fluke injury, I should say. He didn't, you know, he couldn't have done anything about that. But the one year they made the playoffs, yeah, great, but they didn't do much. I mean, they got to the playoffs, they did their thing, but they didn't, like, really give everything they could because of the supporting cast. They were good, but they weren't good enough. And I'm not dissing them for that. That's great. Then, of course, last season, it's like what? You wasted 3 years of Connor McDavid, and it's not on him. He didn't waste his time in the NHL. He's putting up stupid numbers. He's playing great. They didn't make the right moves to help Connor McDavid succeed. And it's really starting to show now, the fact that people are questioning if they're even a playoff team anymore. And it's really unfortunate, because they're coming off of, like, of course, one playoff run in his entry-level contract. And you expected so much more this past season. It's almost disappointing as a hockey fan. Like I said, you want to see McDavid in those playoffs. He's magical. And I'm sick and tired of people saying, well, you know, they shouldn't rush it. Well, they have picks. I mean, Puljujarvi, if he doesn't produce, I'm almost positive he's going to be expendable. People don't want to say it, but I mean, and first of all, can I just give myself a pat on the back here? I said Pierre-Luc Dubois was going to be unreal and that he was going to go number 3. And I said that on video. I'm pretty sure it's still on my channel. And I said, Puljujarvi, I'm not convinced. I knew he was good, but I said, I think Dubois is going to be the guy that people are like, oh, damn, he's good. And, I mean, I'm not saying the Oilers, like, of course they didn't have a choice. I mean, he dropped, like, he went number 3. But, I don't know, man. Like, this team is confusing the hell out of me. Like, I'm not sure if they should be buying or if they should be selling. And again, honestly, I can't even say they should be buying, because they're in trouble when it comes to their cap. Of course, Lucic's contract is bad. But if you look at their cap friendly, they don't have the best contracts on there. And I've seen people say Draisaitl should be moved if they don't play good in the next couple of years. And you know what? I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. But how many pieces do you get back for Draisaitl if he continues to play good? Those contracts are huge. And I don't know. I would never trade Draisaitl. I personally don't think that you should. But I don't know. Like, Chiarelli's got to be the guy that doesn't make these moves. Like, if the Oilers don't make the playoffs this year, McLellan's getting fired and so is Chiarelli. Like, I honestly think that they need somebody to come in and clean everything up. So there's going to be some tough decisions coming up, and people don't think that it's possible for a guy like Draisaitl to get moved. But if the team says, listen, we got to build around McDavid fast, and we can't afford to have Draisaitl's contract with us anymore, they're going to have to find other pieces to put around him, because you wouldn't get one piece back for Draisaitl. You're getting multiple. And it might have to be young, controllable assets. Because, I mean, look at what the Leafs did, okay? And again, this isn't me, like any team. The Leafs traded away a huge cap hit in Phil Kessel, and he was a great player, led the team in scoring every year, but you get back multiple assets that turned into Freddie Anderson, of course, when we traded that pick, and Kasperi Kapanen, who has turned into a good guy on the roster who's young, controllable, and cheap. Like, you're getting rid of a ton of money and bringing in more help for less money than you're spending. You know, like less money than you would have spent with him. Again, I'm just going off here. I would like to discuss this more on a stream, because then I can be a little bit, you know, more lengthy, because I don't want this video to be too long. This offseason, they brought in some names, nothing too crazy, like Reeder, Brodzniak, Gravel, I don't really know how to say his name. Koskinen, the goaltender that they spent over $2 million on, and maybe that pushes Talbot, or they split the games and it makes it easier on them. And then Scotty Opshall and Jason Garrison were brought in on PTOs, and you can almost guarantee both those guys are probably going to get a contract unless they're just absolutely awful. And like I said, you know, you're not really bringing in any big names here. They're struggling to score. And they had guys like Hall and Eberle. I mean, they weren't the best fits, but you really think guys like Strome and Lucic are better fits? Don't tell me that the Oilers shouldn't make a move, because they need to. It has to happen. I mean, you're looking at Justin Faulk. How are they not finding any way possible to get a scoring defenseman at this point? You need to, and it's going to hurt a little bit. You're probably going to give up a really good asset. But at the same time, you need to put guys who can put up points with Connor McDavid. Faulk is not the best defensively, but you stick him with Larson, maybe that works. Offensive guy, defensive guy. Now, they're both right-handed, if I'm not mistaken, so that might not work. But at the same time, you have to come up with these different possibilities. And I didn't want to go too much on a rant here, but as a fan of hockey, watching that Oilers watching those playoff games that they were in, I was like, damn, like McDavid and this Oilers team could be so good, and I was excited for this team. And now it's not looking too great. So let me know what you guys think about the Edmonton Oilers. Leave your comments down below. Now, this is where there's going to be a lot of information in this video, obviously, besides the main point. So, as you guys know, I've been doing a lot of extra stuff, like writing for different companies. Check me out on the Sin Bin. You'll see on my Twitter account. Follow me, Andy Piluk, on Twitter, ANDYPILUK. You can also find me on Patreon. I'll leave the link in the description box. Now, you've probably seen it at some point in this video. I probably promoted it. I'll probably put it up again. I am putting some tiers up there for you guys if you would like to subscribe to any of them or purchase any one of them. I'm not sure how you really, you know, talk in Patreon lingo. I know it's a whole nother language, I guess. There's different tiers that you can be added to, subscribe to, whatever. I know a lot of people use Patreon, and I thought about it, and I thought, you know what, I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff where, like, I could easily film myself and post it, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys check it out. It's very affordable. Like, I mean, it's all it does is put more money back into the channel. And like I said, on the Patreon page, I want to do giveaways and stuff like that. So if it helps out for that, that'd be great. But it also helps me put more effort into the videos by, you know, buying equipment and stuff like that. So if you want to contribute to that, that link is down below. Also, Snapchat. I believe I'll put it up on the screen right now. A Piluk Hockey, that should be what it is. If not, it's on the screen. I will be posting updates on there as well if you want to add me on there. Also, if you want to buy a t-shirt from Spreadshirt, it's, you know, pretty affordable. They're like $20 Canadian, like 16 American. If you want to buy an Andrew Piluk Hockey t-shirt, I will feature you in a video if you have a shirt. I'll literally put your picture in the video and stuff like that. Oh, and I forgot to mention about Patreon. There's a lot of perks there. It's not just you subscribing and getting nothing. Like, I'm going to be doing a lot of articles, behind the scenes stuff, but you'll also be putting like the description box, my videos, if you subscribe to a certain tier. It's pretty cool. But getting back to the other stuff, also SeatGeek, I'm partnered with them. If you use code APH in all caps, 20% off your first order. Again, $20 off. Like, you might as well take it. 20 bucks you get off of concert tickets, events like hockey games, soccer games, baseball games, whatever you want to go to, $20 off your first purchase. And I mean, they won't know if you make multiple email accounts. I'm sure a lot of people do it, and I mean, it's all good. It doesn't make any sense if you don't, you know, use it a couple times. I mean, you could probably make, I'm not going to say anymore because you guys already know what to do. But yeah, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 4,000 subscribers. See you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.